Today we're at the Lake Helen Police Department in Florida. This is a very small department in a tiny little town of less than 3,000 people. We're here because a former officer here was just hired by the DeLand Police Department. But concerns were brought to our attention due to his history of discipline within law enforcement. And that's a very interesting and maybe shady story that you won't want to miss. It'll be out soon. But we're here to try to learn more about him from the time he was here. But in our visit to Lake Helen, I encountered some things I didn't expect to encounter. Some crazy, kind of funny stuff that left me almost without words. One of my goals is always to try to educate, and I'd like to do so cordially. My goal is never to make anyone look bad, regardless of what some would lead you to believe. I have very positive intentions. I suppose tyrants, though, wouldn't see it as positive. But let's get into what I encountered. Hello. I'm trying to get some records on Mark's, what is it, Sayes? S-A-I-S? Sayes. He was an officer here, correct?
He was.
Okay. I'm just trying to get, until recently?
Yeah, he left 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Well, he applied, he went to DeLand.
Yeah, that's what I heard. How long had he been here for?
Not long.
Not long.
But he'd been here before, years and years ago.
Oh, okay.
And then he left, and then he came back.
Okay.
And then he left again.
Yeah. Was he at a different agency before here?
I think he was with the Volusia County Sheriff's Office.
Well, okay.
Just before here.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to get basically his employment dates here.
Get what?
His dates of employment here.
I don't have any of that.
No, I mean through the records. You know.
I don't have his records.
Who would have his records?
Probably City Hall. And why would you want those? Are you going for a job, or what is the deal?
Well, they're public records.
They're not public records.
No, it is. He's a police officer, so everything in their file is public record. Employment history, like any discipline, any awards, basically everything is public record.
Okay, and what's your name?
I can give you an email address.
No, I want a name.
Well, you don't have to give a name for
It's public record.
Right. No, I'm a private citizen.
Fine, I need a name.
So, but the public records laws, you can do it anonymously.
Since when?
So, are you familiar with the public?
Then go through public. No, I'm not. So go through public. Then go through the courthouse.
No, it's not. The courthouse doesn't handle public records for the police department. The police department does.
The police. You're gonna need to come and talk to somebody else, son, because I don't know. I don't have that strategy on public records.
Right, but they're all. Has nobody ever come in here and requested public records before? Nobody. What?
No, not with me.
That's
I've
crazy.
been here almost 20 years.
I mean, I know it's a small department, but I request public records from agencies all the time. And
take pictures of people while you're doing it.
I document. I don't take pictures. It's video.
You're taking video.
I document. Yeah, right. Yeah, I document everything.
I just don't know that area of it. I know if somebody is like trying to do an employment or a background check, because I do background checks, but only for records on here, not a personal record on them for the police department. So if somebody like DCF does, I just did, like I said, I did all these records this morning for a specific address and person.
Mm-hmm.
But I do that through the computer, which is generated by calls to the house. That's the kind of records I do.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
And but you would be the custodian of records for the police department here.
Not for
right?
that. Not for their personal record. Not their personnel records.
Okay. What about discipline and internal investigations, things like that?
That isn't something that I'm privy to.
That's something.
Never had an internal investigation with Mark.
No. Okay. Well, I was just using that as an example. If somebody were to request an internal investigation or maybe discipline, let's say for an example, I'm not saying he was, but just in general, an officer had been suspended or written up, and a member of the public came in and requested that document. That wouldn't be at City Hall, right? That would be here.
It goes in his personnel file, so I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
I think if you're probably better off coming when my boss is here and the chief is here, which will be Monday.
Okay.
And then he knows it all. I don't know it all. I don't pretend to know it all.
Okay. No, but nobody ever comes in here and requests public records?
Not public record, not what you're asking for, not on what people, a personnel file is not.
Right.
That type of thing. When they leave their personnel file, which I haven't even finished yet because he just left, his personnel files go to City Hall.
Okay.
His personal records.
So what is, I'm a journalist and I'm doing, I'm looking into some things with the Land Police Department is why, and he's a new hire there.
Right.
So I'm just trying to get some history on new hires there as well. So that's what brings me here. Typically at a police department like you would be the point of contact for records at the police department. So if someone came in
not on their personnel.
But what I'm saying, like if they were written up or something like that, you typically
that would be in their personnel file.
And their personnel file doesn't stay here; it all goes to City Hall.
Yeah. Once they're gone.
So once they're gone.
Yeah.
Okay. So if he still worked here, it would still be here.
It would be here.
It would be here. Okay. All right. But and just going back real quick, you understand that you can, and just respectfully, nobody has to give a name to receive public records. They can do it anonymously or.
It's something I didn't know, but
yeah,
I've never had anybody ask me for that, a personal record.
Yeah.
So if that was the case, then I probably would know.
Yeah.
And if I didn't know, then I would call my boss and say, "What is the deal? How do I take care of this?"
Right.
It's just like anything else. Somebody asks me something new. I've been here a long time, but I've never had anybody request a personnel record.
Do you ever handle public records from citizens of any type of, like a citizen comes in and says, "Hey, I need to get whatever it might be"?
I have not had anybody ask me that.
Really?
No.
Okay. All right. I mean, it's a small city, I know, but
it is.
But yeah,
Unfortunately.
I'm just surprised I'm the first. At least I'm the first at something.
Yeah.
It's always going to be the first, right?
But yeah, I may not be involved in some of the stuff. I mean, I don't do it all. When somebody usually wants something like that, they usually go to the chief.
They go to the chief. Yeah. All right. Yeah, and so just what it was. If a citizen did come in and there was a public record that you do have something, I don't even know, but if they came in and said, "Hey, I want to get this record on this," and it's something that you have access to or that you have access to. Just so you know, you can look into it if you want. If any agency or government entity requires that they provide their name or any information to obtain that record, it's actually illegal to do that. Which is why I was surprised.
What I'll do is I'll have one of the officers who's really good at looking that stuff up.
Yeah.
And then what he'll do is he'll look it up and he'll print it out for me, because that's how I learn.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's, if whoever wants to look it up, just Florida records laws and the Sunshine Law.
He'll know.
That's one to pull
know
up,
that.
and that's good.
He's been an officer for a long, long time.
Yeah.
He's taught me a lot.
Yeah, that's good. Like I said, it's a small town, I know, but I'm glad I was the first. Look at that. Can I put my name on the wall or something in here? The first to request a public record.
First somebody's asked me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to get out of your hair. It was nice talking to you. Nice meeting you. I'll come back with my plaque for the wall somewhere. First to request public records.
I'll get you a plaque.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'll be back.
Okay.
All right, you have a good day. Thank
You
you.
too.
Take care. We are going to head over to City Hall now and see what happens there. Now, I think initially records manager Lynn and I maybe got off on the wrong foot. She seemed irritated by me initially, and at first I wasn't quite sure if she was just being nasty to me or she really didn't know. And as you saw, we learned she actually didn't know. Now, as a records manager for a public agency, should she know? I'll leave that up to you to discuss, but I feel like we did a service here. How the hell I'm the first one to go in there and request records, I have no idea. It is a tiny town, but damn. And hopefully after this, they'll have some discussions among people that work at the city. I don't think there's many employees, because we're going to City Hall here now, and we're going to encounter more of the same, or similar at least. And hopefully, and genuinely, this is a genuine hope, without sarcasm, that we can help provide some education on public records laws, and as you'll see here, maybe some training or some education on the expectations of privacy in public places and filming. I really didn't expect to encounter any of the things that we're encountering today. My only goal was to submit my records request, but it was like I stepped back in time 20 or 30 years or something. But here we go. Let's go into City Hall. I don't know how old this building is, but it's old. And the entrance is a weird little backside entrance. This used to be a schoolhouse, I guess, a long time ago. And it's actually a pretty neat old building. I've got no idea where the hell to go once I'm in here. So we're just gonna wander a little bit and see if we see anybody or see an office that looks like it might be the right place to go. As we're going to see, I don't think they have a city clerk. There was no sign anywhere that said city clerk. We're going to end up in this office right here to the right eventually. And the person in there says she's a records manager. Or I'm sorry, an office manager. So she probably doubles as, the city clerk and, whatever else needs to be done in the city. Just an assumption. There's actually an elevator in here, but the thought of an elevator in such an old building honestly terrifies me. And this is a little city museum, which actually might be kind of cool. I'll probably come back at some point and check this out, see what's in there. But so far, I'm not seeing a person. And with the wood floors and acoustics of an old building, you might be able to hear it. If not, you can imagine it. I would think someone would hear somebody wandering around, but there's nobody coming out. And again, I don't think there's many people in here. These are the council chambers, I believe. I can't imagine the city has many employees, and there was only a couple of cars in the parking lot. So I'm just kind of having a look around as we figure out where to go, just because it's a neat building. But I just look back over here.
I know where I'm
see
going.
A face in here.
I'm
so
looking
I'm gonna
for
pop in.
somebody that would maybe handle city records.
What are you looking for?
I was at the police department. I'm looking for an application from a former officer.
You have to put in a public records request for that. That's not something that we just have sitting around. They'd have to do a public records. Did you do that with them?
Right, no, that's what I'm trying to do.
You said you did it down at the PD though?
I went to the PD, to the records manager, and she said she doesn't handle records, that I would have to come here.
She does handle records for the PD.
Yeah, we kind of had that discussion, but she insisted that.
Yeah, you really have to do an email though. We don't do it like an in-person records request because we don't have like a specific form. You could just email.
Right, yeah. I mean, I could
records.
just write it down or something. Who is the point of contact to get those records?
Our records request is our director of administration.
Okay.
So you just would email her
Okay.
and ask for what you're asking for.
And the that would be right. Yeah,
But again,
she was.
you have to put in a public records request.
Right, yeah,
because
that's-
She's got to do a formally,
Yeah, I mean, you can do it verbally, or I can write it on
We
a
don't
piece
do
of
it
paper.
verbally here. We have to have put it in record. So again, it's a record.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, by Florida records law, you can do it verbally, or you can call on the phone, or you can write it on a piece of paper.
But it's called a records request, so they have to have some type of record that you're requesting a record.
Right. I
You
had
don't
this.
do it verbally or over the phone.
I had this discussion at the PD too. It's a small city, so I'm not trying to be a jerk. I know it's a small city, but Florida records laws. I mean, you can. It would require.
Yeah, I'm just saying that we require it to be in email form. That's all.
But-
So you just email Roxanne.
But a city can't require that. Is what I'm saying. The records laws. If somebody were to come in, I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm not trying to say that I want to do this verbally. I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
If somebody were to come
I
in.
don't know the laws. I don't do that part.
Yeah,
It's not my job.
yeah. No, I know. That's why I'm not.
Email her.
And that's fine. I personally would rather do it that anyway. I was just saying I had a discussion like this similar to the police department. If somebody were to walk in and say, "Hey, I don't want to send an email and I don't want to fill out a form. I just want you to write down that I want this record." By law, the cities have to do that.
Law is how that would
Yeah.
work. Like I said, I don't know that part of it.
Right? Yeah. I'm just letting you know. Where did I walk into? This is not records or anything here, right?
No, this is just the main office.
Just the city office. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. So that's one of the things I'm
But
trying
it
to
still
find.
has to be a record request. I don't know how, again, you're saying, I hear what you're saying, but they have to have some type of record that they're making, plus it has to be all redacted and stuff, and they don't have that type of stuff to redact stuff
Right.
for you to make a copy of.
Right, yeah, but I'm just saying,
So it would have to come back down here for us
Right.
to redact the information you're requesting
Like-
to make a copy of to give to you.
like initially when I went to the police department, I asked for it, and she said, "Well, what's your name?" And I was like, "Well, I'll give you an email address." And she said, "No, we need a name if you're getting a public record request." And I mean, someone can do it completely anonymously; they don't have to give a name. She said, "I'm the first person to ever go in there and request a public record."
Yeah, normally
Which-
I said normally public records are requested through us, but I don't know, I don't think anybody's requested anything for the PD.
Yeah, I have no, I don't know
Are you
who.
recording us?
Yes, I'm recording.
Okay, you're
Yep.
supposed to let somebody know that you're recording them, aren't you?
No,
Yes.
not in a public place.
I'm pretty sure you are. Anytime
No.
anybody's being recorded, you have to let them know you're
No,
being
not.
recorded.
We're in a public place, and there's no expectation of privacy in public.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not, like I'm saying, I'm not being a jerk by saying this. This is a small town. I understand that.
I understand. I was just saying,
Right.
You could tell, and I was just saying you're doing it, but aren't you supposed to let somebody know
Yeah,
that they're being recorded?
no, we're in a public place. Most public places you go into, there's cameras everywhere. This is an old building. I don't know if they got cameras in here. They probably do somewhere. But the same reasons they can record without telling me is the same reason, because there's no expectation of privacy in public. You know what I mean? And we're in a public building, and public employees can be recorded in the course of their duties. It's just, I'm a journalist, so I record and document everything, all my interactions, and I go through and get my, take my notes and everything. So I record everything. But yeah, I guess this city doesn't encounter this often.
We don't.
Yeah, I mean, just public records, and I don't know. She said she's going to have a plaque on the wall put my name in there for the first to come in to request public records. And where does this person have an office? Here?
Yes.
Okay.
She's on a conference call right now, though, so.
This is the person that typically would handle all records requests?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and like I said, you can look it up on your own, the records laws. I know you're saying they have to have a record of it, but by law, someone can just verbalize it.
That, so I'd have to look up the law,
and the same with
I don't
filming
know
and.
if she even knows that, but again, it's a Florida statute, so.
Yeah, the Sunshine Law, Florida Records Laws, all that. She should know that. And the same with recording in public. I mean, you can look that up, and there's no expectation of privacy in public. And it's the reason I don't come out and say, hey, I'm recording you, or I hold the camera way up here, because then things aren't natural, right? Most people act differently when they think they're talking to a camera. I try to make everything natural, as natural as possible.
Gotcha.
Okay, I appreciate it.
So as soon as we walk out of this office, she's immediately going to call someone across the hall who answers on speakerphone, probably the person I was just told that isn't available. And she's going to tell her that some guy is here thinking he can verbalize a records request and thinks he can film in public.
Who's Mrs. Fowler?
So that guy that you just saw, hearing that call on speakerphone got his attention, and just guessing, but he's probably like, crap. This guy can film, he can do a request anonymously if he wants, he can do it verbally, and he's going to come out to do a little bit of damage control. And he does seem to be familiar with the laws, which is awesome. That's what we want to see all the time. And hopefully that, with everything we've seen here, will help educate everybody.
I'm just looking around now. I came in, I'm the one that she just called her about. I was just looking for public records. I'm being sent around from place to place.
What records are you looking for?
I was looking specifically for an employment application from a now former police officer, Mark Sais, I don't know, S-A-I-S, I'm not sure how you say
An
that.
application?
His initial application for employment here, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, may not be able to get it immediate because the
Right.
clerk can do that, because also there may be some information needs to be redacted.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't expect that I can walk in and get it. I had gone to the police department.
Okay.
And they said they don't handle police
Okay.
records,
Yeah, no.
so they sent me over here.
Yeah.
So that's I didn't
No problem.
I didn't expect that I'm going to walk
I
away
mean,
with it.
you're not required to give me a name or a number or a contact.
That's-
so I'm
that's
okay
what I
with
was-
that. So,
yeah.
so just how do you want to do that? Do you
Yeah.
want me to give you my card and you
I-
give a call?
I can give an email address.
Yeah.
or-
Okay.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
just
that's
want
fine.
to know I'm
No.
not required by law to tell you to give me anything.
There we go. That's fine. So
Yeah.
that's what I was telling
Yeah.
her up there.
Yeah. So no, if you give me an
yeah.
email, then we can get that
Yeah.
to you, just
Yeah,
as long
perfect.
as I know any personal information is redacted.
Yeah, perfect. What's your title here?
I'll give you a card.
I'm sorry.
I'll give you a card.
Oh, okay.
Actually, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want, you can email me.
I'll send you an email there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fine.
All right.
And Jim. Okay.
Jim Gleason,
Yeah, I appreciate
yeah,
it.
okay.
I know it's a small city.
Yeah,
shake
no,
it.
no problem.
Yeah.
No, no,
so.
but we're public, so you're entitled,
Uh,
you have every legal right to, and you made a request, and we'll get it responded.
Absolutely. That's
Okay?
it. Yeah, that's all I was
Okay.
just trying to figure that
All
out. I
right.
appreciate it. I'll send
Okay.
you an email.
Okay,
All right. Have a
thank
good
you.
day. Take care.
Get into the comments, let me know what you think. I do genuinely believe that we help bring some education to this city today. As for the public filming laws, I really am amazed that still we encounter people that aren't familiar with that. But I mean, in both buildings, they both said nobody ever comes in and makes requests. So I imagine nobody comes in with a camera. And if that's the case and they've not seen YouTube videos, I guess maybe they wouldn't know. But it's something important for everybody to know, but especially those who work in public service. There's their cameras. Make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already, and hit the notifications and stay tuned. The reason we're looking for this information comes from some concern by current DeLand police officers over a new hire. He's got some things in his history of law enforcement that make them feel that he should not be hired by any agency. And it's pretty crazy, and we'll get into that very soon, so